investigators arresting a man accused of shooting at Rowan County Sheriff's deputies over the weekend. Officials say as they were in the area of North Carolina Highway 52 in China Grove, they heard what they believe to be bullets hitting their cars. That's where we find our Ron Lee tonight with more on this bizarre story. So Ron, what happened next here?
Well, after deputies say they heard gunfire hitting the side of their cars, they spun around very quickly and went after the suspect, looking for whoever was responsible. That's when they say they saw the suspect just calmly walking away from the scene. Now, here's a picture of the guy in question. His name is Zachary Johnson, and you probably figured out he's in custody, considering he's got a mugshot. Deputies say Johnson headed home, and when officials tried calling him out, he simply stayed put. After law enforcement knocked on the door, Johnson finally came out. Deputies then say they then spotted a .22 caliber rifle with a scope nearby. When Johnson allegedly tried to walk away again, deputies went in for the arrest. That's when the suspect allegedly assaulted both of those officers. Once the takedown was complete, officials were notified that not only a third patrol car was hit with bullets, but several other cars were also hit in the area. At that point, Johnson had a medical reaction from what deputies tell us was a mixture of prescription medication and alcohol. He was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. Right now, he's being charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, 6 counts of discharging a weapon into occupied property, 2 counts of assault on a government official, and 1 count of resisting a public officer. The suspect remains in jail tonight under no bond. From Rowan County, I'm Ron Lee. WBTV, on your side.
Definitely a bizarre story, Ron. Thank you. And happening